Hello everyone, we're just going to give it a couple of minutes to let everyone join the webinar today. Great, so let's get ourselves started. Just before we get started, I'll give you a quick introduction to myself. So my name's Stuart, I'm one of the paid media executives here at TAG. And today I'm going to be giving you a quick run through of video and how to utilise it for successful marketing campaigns. Just before we get started, you can ask any questions as we go along by using Slido. Just make sure that you scan this QR code. And if there's any questions that come up along the way during the webinar, feel free to submit them and we can answer those towards the end of the session. So a quick breakdown of the agenda, things that we're going to talk about today. First of all, we're going to go through an introduction to video ads, just a little bit of an explainer on what video advertising actually is, and also the benefits that go alongside video ads. Also going to talk a little bit about YouTube, which is one of the largest platforms for video ads. Give you a bit of an insight into what YouTube is, some of the key facts, a little bit about the audience base, and also the content types that you can find over on YouTube. And then we'll move on to video funnels, just taking you through the different levels of the funnel and what is most important for you to focus on based on your own marketing objectives. And then towards the end of the webinar, we'll be talking about video best practices and also a few examples that we can have a look through as well to give you a bit of an understanding on how to make the most of your video ads. So getting started, let's have a little look at the introduction. So 88% of internet traffic will come from video by the end of 2022. I know it's a bold statement, but this is where we are starting to see things go within the advertising space. Video is becoming a really integral part of all of your campaigns, and it should be something that is a must as opposed to an optional extra nowadays. It's really, really important to make sure that you have this, and we'll get into the details on why so a little bit later in the webinar. So what is video advertising? Fundamentally, we can break it down into the art of displaying ads either inside online video content, usually before, during, or after a video segment. Alternatively, as standalone ads. So as you can see on the screen here, we've got a few different platforms that all utilize video ads, YouTube being the biggest one. Over 800 million views every single day, which is a mind-boggling number, to be honest, but it is exactly how it is nowadays. It's just growing arms and legs, and about 10% growth each year on YouTube at the moment, so the only way is up. Also alongside that, we've got the likes of LinkedIn, Google Display as well. We've got Meta, which most people will know as Facebook, and also LinkedIn. And as far as the standalone ads are concerned, you can see a lot of those on the likes of TikTok, where you can start to build real good brand awareness and getting word out about your campaign or events there as well. So looking into the benefits of video ads, there are quite a few, but we're going to focus on the main ones today and give you a run through of those. So the first thing is video encourages engagement. Videos are naturally more engaging and capture the user's attention immediately. Video ads really excel at telling a story and educating users about your brand and event. The main differences between video and the likes of your standard native banner ads is the fact that video gives you 30 seconds to really sell your brand, speak to the audience about your event, what the unique selling points are to the event, any additional extras that they need to know, and it allows you to do so in a way that is really intuitive to the user and also isn't contributing to any kind of bloat in terms of content. You know, if you have a single image ad with a lot of USPs on it, the message can often get lost, whereas by making the most of video, we can avoid that issue altogether. And a quick fact as well, just to keep on your mind, video itself attracts up to 27 times more click-throughs than your standard ads. So it's really impactful. It grabs users' attention and it promotes action a lot more effectively than your standard ads do. Moving on to the second point, video builds trust and credibility. Video allows you, as I say, to tell your brand and story in a really effective format, and you avoid a lot of the challenges associated with content bloat. But also the main thing to think about here is that viewers retain 95% of a message when it's delivered in video content, as opposed to only 10% when it's delivered by a standard image ad. Also aligning yourself with the likes of YouTube. The placements in YouTube are much, much better in terms of quality of traffic and the audiences that you'll be reaching. And also being able to align your brand with a brand like YouTube has a really huge impact as well. So it's definitely worthwhile making sure that if you're not already using ads on that platform, that you start doing so to make the absolute most of that ability to build trust and credibility. The third point that we have is that video drives conversions. Videos can drive action by delivering impactful messaging at a time that matters most to your target audience. And what we find a lot of the time is anyone that's on YouTube has a real desire to engage in content, and being able to capture them at that critical point with an ad is really impactful in terms of being able to spread your message and making sure that you're getting word out about your brand or your event in the most effective manner possible. When we think of driving conversions via video, there's a few different ways that we can go about it. So some of these you will already have heard of before, and some maybe not so much. So the first one would be your customer lists, any lists that you have generated from previous events, or anyone that's shown an interest in the likes of a newsletter, or maybe even signing up for an agenda download. Things like this, we can utilize those numbers over on YouTube, and quite frankly in any kind of setting, but it's really impactful when it comes to video ads. Alongside that as well, we've got the standard website visitors remarketing that we can use, but the really important one, the one that is very much unique to video ads, specifically on YouTube, is the fact that we can remarket to people based on percentage time watched. So a good example of that might be if you had an awareness orientated video, very top of funnel, just targeting people based on their interests. What we could look to do is retarget individuals who have watched 75% of that video and move them down the funnel into the considerations stage, and then hopefully moving them on to action. It's a really good opportunity to build audiences, and that's something that we would also always advise in doing so. And also alongside that, we've got the fact that video ads excel on mobile. One interesting statistic from companies distributing video is that 88% of short pieces, around about 30 seconds, are watched through to the end on mobile, whereas on desktop, that just isn't the case. I think one of the main contributors to this relates to screen resolutions. A great example of it would be if you're on a Mac or any kind of desktop device. You've got much bigger resolution to play with, and a lot of the time the ads that are on screen can be lost amongst all the other content that is on the screen. Whereas by using video ads, and more specifically targeting people via mobile, the chances are when they see your ad will fill 100% of the screen. Good example of that would be when you're watching a YouTube ad, and within the first 10 seconds, you see an advert pop up. And that's the kind of placements we're looking to leverage, ones that have a lot of backing from YouTube and that sort of brand association, but also the fact that we can target people when they're at the point of, going to be watching content, and they're going to be really interested in what pops up on their screen. And as I say, the point that we mentioned about 95% of messages being picked up by video is certainly something that we should be trying to leverage these kind of means. So I've referenced a little bit about YouTube so far, and the reason that we do that is because it is one of the biggest search engines out there. It's second biggest at the moment, and it's only losing out to Google. Alongside that, it generates more than 800 million views every single day. And additionally, around 1.7 users use YouTube every single month. So the numbers are astronomical. It's one of the largest out there. And in terms of video, it's definitely the place to be if you're wanting to push your ads and try and generate more business for your events or generating brand awareness. In terms of the audience base, we've got 49% of 65 plus year olds in the US use YouTube. And alongside that as well, in terms of the most popular age demographic, it's between 25 and 34. Those kind of facts alongside by side to show you the importance that YouTube is a place for everyone. It's not just a specific age demographic or any other kind of demographic for that matter. It's very much a place that any industry or event could utilize and make the most of when it comes to trying to get more people at their events via video ads. And also alongside that, users on average spend 18 minutes watching video content every single day, which really emphasizes the fact that video is here to stay and that people are engaged in using video content. And it's something we need to make sure that we leverage in all campaigns going forward, really. And just bringing you on to the different ad content types that we have at the moment within YouTube. Starting off with in-stream ads, right at the very top of the screen. These are the most popular types of ads that we use on YouTube at the moment. You can see this type of ad when video content is played before, during, or after the main video on YouTube. In-stream ads are both skippable and non-skippable. What we would say is if you're going to be using a non-skippable ad, the message has to be really impactful. The challenge that we have there is if we start serving non-skippable ads to people who maybe don't know about your brand or aren't engaged within your event as a whole, it can cause more damage than good in the sense that you're forcing someone to watch an ad that might not necessarily be relevant to what they want to see. Second on that list is bumper ads. So these are unskippable 6-second video ads that can, similarly to in-stream ads, appear before, during, and after videos. These ones are about getting a short and concise and really snappy message across to the user, something like the fact that your registration closes soon, whether it be the next 7 days or even less than that. Using short, concise, really impactful ads in the form of bumper ads can be super effective in getting people to come back to your website and converting. Alongside that, we have video discovery ads. Now, these don't actually sit within the main section of YouTube where the video plays, but these sit within different listings. So things like on your YouTube homepage, when you're scrolling through, it will pop up as a thumbnail, your video, and if someone clicks on that, they'll be taken to a standard YouTube page that will play your ad for them. Alongside that, it can be found in suggested results to the right of a video that you're watching. So it's really about filling that real estate on YouTube and going after stuff that doesn't necessarily sit within the realm of the main video sphere. Usually we'd use them for raising awareness. Moving on to the next one, we've got outstream video ads. We don't typically use these very often because they're mobile only, but it is still an option. The only reason that we don't use them, combined with the fact that they're mobile only, in-stream ads does 90% of the stuff that the outstream ads do. So it's very much a case of we're better off just using in-stream. And then alongside that, finally, we've got masthead ads. I think for me personally, the one that really stands out to me when I'm on YouTube, when you log into the homepage, sometimes you might see something like a new movie that's coming out, and the top banner on the YouTube homepage is advertising that movie. With those type of ads, we have to approach YouTube on a case-by-case basis. It's not as easy as just putting ads live, but if that's something that you're interested in, we could certainly look into getting that set up. And now moving on to the video funnel. The good news is it's very similar to the standard marketing funnel that we see across different platforms, split up into 3 different sections. We've got awareness, we've got consideration, and then the final step in that funnel is action. So awareness, this sits at the very top of the funnel. And at this level, effectively what we're doing is casting a wide net to capture a lot of different users, and then using this data that we get back from the ads to refine these individuals down into different audiences based on a level of interest. So at this stage, you could be thinking about things like interest targeting, also using other options like custom intent targeting, where we would be targeting users based on keywords that they search for on Google in the past. The type of content you'd want to utilize in terms of actually showing an ad to a user at this stage is all your sort of top level USPs. Also, topics associated with the event would be a good shout as well. And if you've got any industry recognition or awards that you want to bring to the forefront at this stage, it'd be really good to do so at the awareness stage as well. Effectively, we're putting out an option for someone to find out more at this stage, and that's what it's really all about. So here we should have a video that's going to play, which will just give you a bit of an insight into what we're talking about here. I'll let this play. Great. So as you can see there, the main thing that you can take from that video is the fact that the client that we've got used all their key event elements, talking about things like rides, different elements of the event that are going to be interesting to someone who's maybe not heard of the brand before and maybe doesn't even know that they have any interest or intent to go to an event like this. So it's about hitting them with short, snappy messaging that raises their interest and gets them to want to find out more about the event thereafter. The second one that we've got here is consideration. This is slightly further down the funnel. And what we're looking to do is retarget or target individuals who maybe know a little bit about the events industry. They know that they have intent to visit an event of your type, but they might not know of your event. So in some ways they have higher intent than the awareness level, but they're not quite ready to take action. They're just looking at their options and seeing what's out there. At this level, the kind of content that I would say that you should be using is things like interviews of the speakers at the event, maybe even pushing different speakers that are at your event, especially if they're high-profile names. Getting that into an ad will have a really big impact on building brand trust and credibility, but also from a perspective of showing people that you are a market leader within the industry. Another thing that might be good to do is using testimonials from a visitor that's been at one of your events. That's just, as I say again, building trust and making your event seem like the absolute best that's out there. And if you've got any exclusive workshops or sessions that are new or that are not done in any other event within your industry, it's worthwhile putting them at this stage as well. It's really about taking what we've already built on in terms of your top line USPs and then going even further than that. What is genuinely unique about your event? What unique speakers do you have? What is going to take someone who has a good understanding of the events that are out there and make them want to pick your event specifically? So just to give you another example, we've got a video here, which is actually a speaker testimonial. It's 30 seconds long. It has a personal message in there, and it will give you a bit of an insight into the kind of thing that we're talking about here.
This is amazing. I mean, what do you need? It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. You might not even have it in mind, and it's right over there. It's literally Disneyland for pizza hunters. I was looking for a pizza warmer. Looked for it online, couldn't find it. Found 3 vendors that had them, and then played them against each other and got a great price. It was amazing. Got exactly what I was looking for a great price.
Right, so with that ad, I'm not too sure if the audio was playing, but what effectively it was a one of the speakers at the event talking about everything that can be found there and how great it is. So it's taking not just someone saying it's a great event, but actually tapping into the emotional element, which is really important for video as well. And then moving on to the final point here, we have action. And this is all about taking people who have shown an interest in your event. Maybe they've signed up to an email marketing list, as was said previously, or maybe they've been on your website before and had a little look around to see what's on offer and whether it's suited to them. At this level, what we really want to do is push users towards action. So using call to actions like buy now, but also what we can do at action level is if someone has already signed up for a ticket, we can use what's known as a converter campaign. And what we use these for is to get people to go to other elements of your event. So it could be an upsell, for instance. Maybe if you have different tiered tickets that you're selling, maybe a free ticket initially, and then the option to then go ahead and upsell to a paid ticket. We can use converter campaigns based on a customer list that has been provided to us to retarget those individuals and get them to spend more money at your event. Great, and now we're moving on to video best practices and examples. So we've got 4 key rules that we follow at TAG for generating high-performing video ads. The first one that we've got here is that your video should be 30 seconds or less. We all know that visitors to our websites are notoriously known for having short attention spans. That's just natural with anyone that's viewing video content. I think the figure that comes to mind is 6 seconds is what you have to that's the requirement. If you're going to capture someone's attention, it has to be within the first 6 seconds. If not, the chances are they won't be interested in the remainder of your ad. So it's really about making sure that you have impactful content. Alongside that, if you do go over 30 seconds, the problem that you risk is that users will start dropping off before they've heard about your full message. For instance, if you have a really important element that's, say, at 40 seconds, the chances are someone's already clicked off your ad, they maybe have clicked skip, or they're just generally not interested. And it's about making sure that we put all of the impactful elements of your video to the start, which we will get onto shortly. Alongside that as well, it's important to make sure that you diversify your content. So we've got a few different screenshots on screen here, which show a few different variants that you could use. Things like the top left there is actually a party that was held at an event, showing that there's a sense of community, and it's not just about working, but you can also have fun at the event too. Bottom left there, we have I believe it's a visitor testimonial, and then on the right hand side we have a speaker testimonial alongside more just footage from an event and what's going on at the event in more of a corporate sphere. So yeah, I think that's the main point on that side, making sure that we're not just sticking to sort of a one-shoe-fits-all approach, but we're trying to diversify the content as much as we possibly can. Third point that we've got here is to communicate visually, and this is a really important part of creating video content. What we need to make sure that, although video is important, it's crucial to make sure that we have the right balance between video and text on this content. The best way to think about it is if someone has their video muted, can they still understand what the message is? And that's particularly relevant when it comes to any kind of speaker testimonials or visitor testimonials. Being able to, for instance, subtitle those is really important to make sure that the message is being not only heard, but seen as well. And then moving on to the fourth point, we've kind of discussed it already earlier on in the webinar, but make sure that we grab the user's attention within the first 5 seconds. So short attention span is kind of a common thing when it comes to video marketing in general. It's making sure that you weight all of your important points to the front of a video. So you can see on a lot of the examples here, main thing that we should keep in mind is making sure that your logo, your event date and time, and also the key USP associated to your event is within that 5 seconds. So a good example of a USP might be that you have the largest event running of its type in the US, or it could be something different, but it's really important, especially at the awareness level, to make sure that you have those top end unique selling points front and center within the first 5 seconds. And now leading on to some best practice video examples and results as well. So here we've got a quick breakdown of a video that was set up not too long ago. It was effectively an A/B test on this video, 2 different, we just split the budget down the middle. So as you can see, well, in fact, you know what, we'll watch the video first so you can get a bit of an impression on what it's all about. Great. So as you can see there, really engaging video, great video set up for bottom of funnel conversion orientated remarketing. Now, looking at the figures, the main thing that would stand out to me between your standard display remarketing campaign, which is just imagery on the Google display network, and the YouTube remarketing campaign, is the fact there's a lot less impressions. The click-through rate is a little bit less as well. But when we look at what matters most in the context of getting people at the event, the conversions are much, much more. And generally, what we see across the board with this is a common case across a lot of clients that we're working with at the moment, where YouTube is superior in a sense because of the fact that its placements are significantly better in terms of the fact that it's on YouTube first and foremost, but also in terms of targeting, it's more beneficial too. And then just this second example, very similar situation, remarketing orientated, all about taking action. I'll let you tune into the video first of all. And there we have it. In terms of the figures, as you can see, impressions on YouTube are lower than on the display network over on Google. Similar story for clicks, and the click-through rate isn't as impressive, but what matters most in the case of this video is conversions, and as you can see, significantly more across the board. The other thing to take note of with video more generally is the impact that has on the user journey. With a display image, it's not quite as impactful, but with video, you can have a real long-lasting impression, which gets people back on your site, not just, a day after, but a few weeks down the line, they end up coming back onto the site and more often than not converting. And I know that, in terms of the what everyone we've went through today on the webinar, there's a lot of different points to take in. Also, the 4 key points in terms of making really high quality video content is, quite frankly, crucial. So we do actually offer a service at Tag Digital, a video service to put together different videos for you, just high quality videos that will promote the awareness, the consideration, but most importantly, get people to take action and sign up for your events. All about exciting the audience, ensuring that you have the best format for all different ad networks available, and it can help you to utilize video advertising and achieve exceptional results along the way. So if you want to find out more about this, feel free to reach out to our team and we'll be more than happy to talk you through what's involved in our video service in a bit more detail. Great. So that brings us to the end of the key webinar section. So we've already got a question here. So how can I leverage video ads to build a strong remarketing audience? So I would recommend utilizing video ads to reach users during the awareness stage if you're wanting to build a strong remarketing audience. We already know that YouTube as a whole has better placements and a lot of the time generates better quality in terms of audiences that will be clicking on your video or spending 75% plus time on your video as well. So from our perspective, it provides a better quality audience, but also because of the different options that we have, as I say, targeting people that have spent more than 75% of the video watching the content, we can look to leverage that later on stages down the funnel. So it is really impactful. It's definitely something that's worthwhile doing. I would say if you're looking to build an audience, YouTube definitely is the way to go and focus at that awareness stage. Tell people about the top USPs on your event and get them to find out more. As soon as they take action, we can look to remarket them further on down the funnel. Great. And next question is, what stage in the funnel would you recommend starting at when it comes to video ads? So this question really depends on the marketing objective. Like in the previous question, we would recommend going after the awareness part because we're looking to get new users onto the website and build out an audience. However, in terms of what we've seen at Tag so far that works really well is starting with your sort of at the bottom of funnel with action, leveraging audiences that you already have. At the minute, we have a few different campaigns that we're doing tests on, but the best results that we've seen so far is an 8x when you compare the Google display remarketing to YouTube. We've seen 8 times the amount of conversions come through YouTube when compared to that specific means of advertising. So if you want to have like a really quick impact, then I'd certainly say put more of an emphasis behind the action element. That's generally where we would start off. So yeah, next question. Are there any other uses for video ads outside the standard video ad formats? Yeah, there definitely is. And this is something that we have been sort of playing around with quite a lot at Tag. So Performance Max campaigns, they're relatively new on Google. It's a goal-based campaign type that allows performance advertisers to access all of Google Ads inventory from a single campaign. So things like your search ads, discovery, display, video, all the different aspects that you can utilize within Google. We can leverage all of that within a single campaign. What it does then is it combines Google's automation technologies, things like automated bidding, budget optimization, audiences, creatives, and also data-driven attribution modeling as well to deliver results based on your marketing objective. I think one of the main takeaways from this one that we've seen recently is the fact that Performance Max campaigns a lot of the time have been getting better cost per acquisitions or cost per lead, whatever way that you want to look at it, than branded campaigns, which is a real insightful sort of fact to share, the fact that even branded campaigns are being outperformed by this type. But the thing to note with this is that we can only launch that with video creative. So if you don't have access to that, or if you don't have the resource to put that together, then Performance Max unfortunately will be off the table. Great. Well, I think that's all of the questions. Thanks very much for joining us. If there's any other questions that come to mind after this webinar, please feel free to reach out to myself or one of the other members of the team. And also alongside that, thanks very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.